Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are looking at one of the most talked about moments in modern football history. We're setting our sights on the 2026 World Cup quarterfinal clash. We've got the defending champions Argentina going up against a Swiss team that was absolutely desperate to prove they belong on the game's biggest stage. I mean, it's a matchup with all the ingredients of an instant classic, right? High stakes, massive global pressure, and this incredible underdog narrative that literally had the whole world watching.
Argentina 3, Switzerland 1. On paper, it looks like a solid, totally expected victory for the heavyweights. But okay, let's dive into this, because I can tell you right now, this seemingly straightforward scoreline hides a much, much deeper mystery. It actually masks a crazy narrative of survival, of a tournament favorite pushed to the absolute brink, and an underdog whose dream was crushed in a way literally nobody saw coming.
And that brings us to the real heart of our explainer today. We really have to ask, was this match actually decided by the incredible athletes on the pitch, or was it decided by a deeply controversial 72nd minute red card? A single, split-second moment that forced Switzerland to play with 10 men for nearly 50 grueling minutes of high-stakes football. Well, let's unpack the evidence and see exactly how this whole thing unfolded.
Section 1. The quarterfinal clash.
So, picture this. Kansas City's Arrowhead Stadium on July 12, 2026 is absolutely electric, packed to the rafters with 76,416 roaring fans. On one side, you have Argentina looking to cement their legacy. On the other, a Swiss team chasing their first ever World Cup semifinal. To understand just how tight this game was, we've got to trace how this played out. Argentina strikes fast. Just 10 minutes in, Lionel Messi curls a corner into the box, and Alexis Mac Allister hammers home a powerful header. Boom, 1-0. But Switzerland, who are known for their brilliantly disciplined defense, they absolutely refused to fold. They held the line, and in the 67th minute, Ndyoe outpaces the Argentinian flank, fires from a tight angle, and levels the match at 1-1. It stayed totally deadlocked until deep into extra time. That's when Julian Alvarez hit this wondrous 25-yard strike in the 112th minute, which was then followed by a Lautaro Martinez rebound at the 121st minute as the Swiss threw literally everyone forward. But wait, how exactly did we get to that frantic extra time in the first place?
Section 2. The 72nd minute incident.
Midway through the second half, the score is tied 1-1, and the momentum is visibly shifting towards Switzerland. And that is exactly when the game fundamentally broke. Let's walk through the exact steps of how this chaos unfolded. Step 1. Swiss forward Breel Embolo goes down near Argentina's Leandro Paredes. The referee, João Pinheiro, immediately pulls out a yellow card for Paredes, a foul for Switzerland. Simple enough. But then, Step 2. Spanish VAR official Carlos del Cerro Grande intervenes and sends Pinheiro to the monitor. Step 3 is where it gets completely wild. The review entirely cancels Paredes' booking and inverts the penalty. Embolo is judged to have simulated the contact, basically a dive. Step 4, because Embolo had already received a yellow right before halftime, this simulation means a second yellow. He is sent off. Just like that, Switzerland is down to 10 men.
Section 3. The VAR rule controversy.
Now, this is the core technical debate we need to explore today. The officials relied on specific rules to justify a massive swing, which triggered a huge debate around technological creep in modern football. The exact rule they cited was mistaken identity. As defined, this is a VAR protocol used to correct an error where a referee penalizes the wrong player for an offense. This is the specific, formal protocol the officials cited to justify intervening and sending the referee to the monitor in the first place.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark juxtaposition between that rulebook definition and the actual match reality. Rule experts were incredibly quick to point out a glaring issue here. Mistaken identity is designed for when a referee penalizes the wrong player for an offense. It is not designed to review the nature of the offense itself. The reality on the pitch was that they swapped an illegal tackle offense for a diving offense. And as experts noted, a tackle and a dive are two completely different things, making the use of this specific VAR protocol incredibly contentious.
And the impact of that call is just undeniable when we look at the data. Argentina dominated match possession at 59%, compared to Switzerland's 41%. Following the red card, Argentina was able to dictate the entire pace of the game, ultimately peppering the Swiss goal with over 20 shots throughout the match. Which forces us to ask this incredibly important question. Would these numbers exist in an 11 versus 11 scenario? Would Argentina's clinical dominance and sheer shot volume have materialized if the teams had remained equal and the Swiss hadn't been forced to play with 10 men for nearly 50 minutes?
It really challenges us to look beyond just the stats and consider the context of exactly how those stats were achieved.
Section 4. The global reaction.
Naturally, a moment like this doesn't just stay on the pitch. The whole world was watching, and the social media explosion was pretty much instantaneous. Over on X, the hashtag #VARgentina began trending like wildfire, with critics outright accusing officials of protecting the tournament favorites. Over on Reddit, the debate was fierce and highly divided. Some fans labeled Embolo's dive a quote-unquote -1000 IQ play, arguing that you simply cannot risk embellishing contact when you are already sitting on a yellow card. Conversely, others were crying corrupt officiating, arguing VAR is disproportionately used to benefit big teams. We even saw reporters pointing out that if every Argentinian player was subjected to those exact same embellishment standards, well, they might have run out of players themselves.
And you know, the reactions from the sidelines were just as striking. Let's look at the Argentinian perspective for a second. Manager Lionel Scaloni was incredibly candid. He stated, "We had to suffer a lot, but luck was on our side." He fully admitted his team had just survived a massive escape act, marking their third consecutive knockout game that went to extra time. He basically conceded that the dismissal gave them that crucial bit of fortune they so desperately needed.
Contrast that directly with the reaction from Switzerland coach Murat Yakin. He was absolutely devastated, stating the decision was completely not understandable, the rule destroyed the game. The contrast is just heartbreaking, especially knowing that Braylon Ballo was seen leaving the pitch in tears, completely inconsolable. Though, it's definitely worth noting that even former players like Bradley Wright Phillips offered absolutely no sympathy, calling Embolo's decision boneheaded and blaming him for costing his team a chance at history.
Section 5. World Cup Significance.
So, what does this all mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, the macro impact on the rest of the 2026 tournament is massive. The record books are written in ink, right? Argentina officially advances. They survived the massive scare and now set their sights on a blockbuster, heavyweight clash against England and Atlanta. But more importantly, this keeps Argentina's historic quest for a back-to-back World Cup title alive, which is an incredible feat that hasn't been achieved in the men's game since way back in 1962.
But we really must also acknowledge the heartbreaking reality for the other side, Switzerland's incredible journey. A team that went completely unbeaten through the entire group stage ends in a cloud of controversy. They leave the tournament as a team that fought like lions with only 10 men against the defending champions. But ultimately, they go home feeling that the rules were stretched to their absolute breaking point just to send them there. Which brings us to our final lingering thought for this explainer. Was the mistaken identity call a breakthrough for fair play, finally punishing a dive when it mattered most? Or was it a premature end to a fair match, basically deciding the game before the players actually could? The dossiers on VAR and Argentinian luck remain wide open, so I want to know what you took away from this breakdown. Was justice served on the pitch? Comment below with your verdict, and I will see you in the next explainer.